To all the business owners and entrepreneurs, the crazy ones, the believers, the doers, the clever makers, the action takers, and everybody else in between, this podcast was designed for you.
Welcome to a Business Growth Mindset podcast. I'm Kristian Livolsi, and I'm incredibly grateful to be here today and share this episode with you. In today's episode, I will share with you the Rockefeller Habits and how they will help you scale your business. It applies to students, corporates, tradies, CEOs and entrepreneurs, and I know that it will help you grow and flourish. In this podcast, I'm sharing an extraordinary framework with you that has been tried and tested for more than 100 years. The 10 Rockefeller Habits are a set of daily routines based on the life and work of John D. Rockefeller, a US business magnate and founder of Standard Oil. The 10 Rockefeller Habits have helped over 70,000 companies worldwide scale, and that is why I want you to know about them. If this is your very first time listening to my podcast, welcome and thank you. I'm so glad that you have decided to hang out with me, and congratulations on making a decisive decision to invest in you. Please make sure that you subscribe to my podcast by clicking the subscribe button and change your notifications alert setting so that you don't miss future episodes. For those of you that are regular listeners, please take a few minutes to rate the podcast on whichever platform you are using. This helps others know that the content I'm sharing is relevant and valuable. When it comes to the best framework to execute your company's strategy, I highly recommend the Rockefeller Habits. Vern Harnish coined the concept, and this simple set of habits has helped over 70,000 companies grow while reducing the time needed to run their business. Many scale to 8 figures, 10 figures, and a few to $1 billion and beyond. The 10 habits that make this checklist have not changed for over 100 years since John D. Rockefeller implemented them in his business, the result of which made him the wealthiest man ever, even by today's standards. So what are the 10 Rockefeller Habits? 1, the executive team is healthy and aligned. 2, everyone is aligned with the number one thing that needs to be accomplished this quarter to move forward the company. 3, communication rhythm is established and information moves through the organization quickly. Number 4 is that every facet of the organization has a person assigned with accountability for ensuring goals are met. Number 5, ongoing employee input is collected to identify obstacles as well as opportunities. Number 6, reporting and analysis of customer feedback data is as frequent and as accurate as financial data. Number 7, core values and purpose are alive in the organization. Number 8, employees can articulate the key components of the company's strategy accurately. Number 9, all employees can answer quantitatively whether they had a good day or a week. And number 10, the company's plans and performances are visible to everyone. Now, the Rockefeller Habits have 3 main benefits, and these habits have been used by other CEOs, leaders, and business owners, and me. Well, maybe not me, but for over 100 years, and they continue to work today. Here's the thing, you can't afford not to know them inside and out if you are running a business. Now, they may not all apply to you, and they are dependent on your business's size and scale, but I can promise you that knowing them inside out will serve you more than not knowing them. The 3 primary benefits for knowing the Rockefeller Habits is to 1, avoid the most costly mistakes that growing businesses make. Number 2, it's about improving communication in your organization. And number 3, it's about strengthening your leadership team. Now, before we dive into the 10 habits, it's essential to recognize why discipline matters. Now, I struggled with discipline my entire life, As early as I can remember, my report card reads self-discipline required. When I tell you this, you must understand this was every teacher on each report card, and I failed miserably at turning this around. Now, self-discipline haunted me well beyond the catastrophic failure that I experienced in 2009 and 10. It wasn't until late 2014 that I came to terms with the idea that I needed to grow up, which meant developing key self-disciplines in the form of routines. Now, in the words of Vern Harnish, goals without routines are wishes, and routines without goals, well, they're aimless. So, of course, it matters. We know this theoretically, but I'd like to hammer home just how important having a routine is to attain your goals. Routines set you free, and it's a critical factor that I use with the methodologies and tools that I provide my clients. A clear vision with goals and discipline and routine equals success. Now, you might want to run a marathon, but you won't get anywhere unless you get a coach and have the discipline, that is the routine, to practice. Now, similarly, business leaders who are continually realizing their visions are also the ones with great advisors and coaches. They set clear goals and have routines in place. Now, with this in mind, let's dive straight into the 10 habits in more detail. Rockefeller Habit 1. The executive team is healthy and aligned. Your team members understand each other's differences, priorities, and styles. They meet weekly for strategic thinking, and they all participate in ongoing monthly executive education, right? The team can engage in constructive debates, and all members, they feel comfortable about participation. The very first habit focuses on having a healthy executive team that is aligned with the company's central vision. Now, in his book, Patrick M. Lencioni, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, that is a leadership fable, details unhealthy organizational situations that will derail a leadership team. And I want to share them with you. So if you're aware, primarily because I want you to be aware of the pitfalls. So 1, absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results. Now, I suggest tackling these issues, if any of them exist in your organization, before moving on to any other habit in the list. Now, your team must have a level of trust that allows for healthy debates and constructive conflicts. Now, they need to be able to hash out brutal facts and challenges that each other without the fear of hurting each other's feelings or any office politics. Now, this in turn will allow everyone to stay laser focused on a single priority, creating clarity and power through the whole organization. Now, with this under your belt, you are ready to take on the other habits. Rockefeller habit number 2. Everyone is aligned with the one thing that needs to be accomplished this quarter to move the company forward. Now, the critical number is identified to move the company ahead this quarter. You also need to create 3 to 5 priorities that support that critical number, and they need to be identified and ranked for the quarter. A quarterly theme and a celebration and reward are announced to all employees that bring that critical number to life. Another thing you can do is quarterly theme and critical number is posted throughout the entire company, and employees are aware of the progress each week. Now, in my companies and my clients, we approach this habit with a do or die attitude. That is, we either do it by all working together toward the singular goal, or we die trying. It's tempting to have a few main priorities, but that just means your focus will be pulled in different directions, therefore not achieving anything of any significance. Now, for true scalability to occur, I urge you to prioritize one goal and make sure everyone is on board to achieving that one goal. Scaling a company takes time. It's all about taking a step forward, checking in and adjusting accordingly. Now, this can only happen if there are regular check-ins and goals. Now, one such goal is the quarterly goal that allows for small wins, leading you to your number one priority of your company's focus. Now, Rockefeller habit number 3. Communication rhythm is established and information moves through the organization accurately as well as quickly. Now, to achieve this, all employees are in a daily huddle that lasts less than 15 minutes. All teams have a weekly meeting, and the executive and middle managers meet for a day of learning, resolving significant issues, and any DNA transfer each month. Now, quarterly and annually, the executive and middle management meet off-site to work on 4 decisions. My favorite decisions: strategy, execution, people, and cash. Now, Vern says to move faster, pulse faster. Meetings have gotten a bad reputation, with some avoiding meetings altogether. However, I believe daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual meetings help address the number one challenge that most organizations face when working together. And that challenge, ladies and gentlemen, is communication. It might sound counterintuitive to have this many meetings, but it saves everyone a lot of time when executed correctly. Now, communication will become much more open and smooth, and your team will have the clarity and feedback they need to focus on the company's number one priority. So let's just recap. Here's a breakdown of how long each meeting should run. Now, daily huddle, between 5 to 15 minutes. The weekly meeting, 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the size of your team. Monthly management meetings, now these should be half to a full day, again, depending on the size of your organization. Quarterly and annual planning meeting, 1 to 3 days off-site, and absolutely, this works. Now, from my experience working with hundreds of companies, those organizations that follow this process, they scale faster, better, and more effectively than others who avoid meetings altogether. Now, one of my clients has grown 31% year on year, and we attribute much of the success to habit number 3. The implementation of meeting rhythms results in accelerated communication, speedy decisions, or decision making, and increased accountability. Think about that. Rockefeller number 4. Every facet of an organization has a person assigned with accountability for ensuring goals are met. Accountability is a common enemy most organizations and leaders are always battling with. They battle with inaction, excuses, and deadlines being missed. So how do you solve this common challenge? Well, the first step is to make sure that you have the right people doing the right things. Now, Jim Collins, author of Good to Great and many other wonderful books, emphasizes the importance of getting the right butts in the right seats at the top of the organization. And after all, he says, the bottlenecks are always at the top. Any employees, you'd love hearing that. The next step is to ensure that financial statements have a person assigned to each line item. This avoids confusion and creates massive accountability. The next step is to identify the 4 to 9 processes that form your organizational workflow and appoint one person to be accountable for each. This is because each process is not isolated, and when one person halts or one process halts, it impacts others' workflow. It's imperative to understand that if more than one person is accountable, no one is accountable. And that's when things fall through the cracks. So getting accountabilities clear throughout the organization is crucial. There should be one accountable person assigned to each process within the organization, which needs to be evident throughout the organization. Of course, this doesn't mean that this person is the boss or gets to make all the decisions. Rockefeller habit number 5, you'd think I'd get that right by now. Ongoing employee input is collected to identify obstacles and opportunities. So all executives, as well as middle managers, have a start, stop, keep conversation with at least one employee per week. The insights from employee conversations are shared at weekly executive team meetings, and the employee's input about obstacles and opportunities is collected weekly. Now, ensure that someone is responsible for the process of closing the loop on all the obstacles and opportunities. Yes, data. Both measurable and immeasurable data will fuel clear decision making. This is the first key component for qualitative data that you'll need to guide the business. It's critical for senior leadership and middle managers to engage their employees in data collection from within the company. Now, in other words, roll up your sleeves and prepare to take notes. Now, here are some guidelines that I follow and my clients. Collect data from your employees, especially your sales channels and those on the front line, as they are closest to the action. Senior leaders should talk to one employee a week. And here is the question they should ask. What should the company start, stop, keep doing? Now, pay attention to the stops, as this will give you an idea of the roadblocks your people face and what to eliminate. Now, don't underestimate the opportunity that you have when asking the right questions and collecting the correct information. Your teams are the most powerful resource in your organization. Too often, they are underutilized in this data collection process. And what you need to do is start this conversation today. Rockefeller habit number 6, reporting and analysis of customer feedback data is as frequent and as accurate as financial data. Wow. Now this means all executives have a 4-quarter conversation with at least one end user weekly. The insights from customer conversations are shared at the weekly executive team meeting, and all employees are involved in collecting customer data. Again, you must ensure that someone is responsible for the process of closing the loop on all customer feedback. Next, you need to look at the data that comes from customers. Now, it's critical that all employees talk to customers. After all, customers are the next most significant source of data that you can use to guide your organization's growth. That's really important. Now, I strongly suggest that business owners and leaders formally talk to one customer a week to gather data about the market and its competitors. Customers love hearing from business owners. It makes them feel valued and often results in more sales and better engagement throughout. Rockefeller habit number 7, one of my favorites. Core values and purpose are alive in the organization. Now, I can't stress enough the importance of core values and purpose. Too many organizations I come across lack clarity in their purpose and values, and it directly impacts their ability to foster their people, find and retain talent. So you must make sure that your core values are discovered and that the purpose is articulated, and all employees know both. Now, the entire executive and middle management must, and I say must, refer back to the core values and purpose when giving praise as well as reprimands. Human resource processes and activities need to align with the core values and purpose. That is hiring, orientation, appraisals, recognition, and beyond. And actions need to be identified and implemented each quarter to strengthen the organization's core values and purpose. This habit will give you a baseline for current and future decisions, including hiring, sharing praise, and providing constructive criticism. Purpose and core values form the heartbeat of your organization. Having a purpose gives your company the critical why behind all that it does. Your purpose needs to be more than just making money. When you have purpose and people know about it, they can follow you voluntarily. Your values guide your decisions and your people. When you have both, you can attract those with the same or similar values and purpose, which creates less friction and results in aligned outcomes. Rockefeller habit number 8. Employees can articulate the key components of the company's strategy accurately. Now, as part of my discovery process when working with new clients in forming their strategy, I undertake an in-depth discovery process in the form of interviews with team members. In 90% of cases, there is a massive disconnect and misalignment of strategy, purpose, and core beliefs. To mitigate this, there are four things that we implement. One, we establish our massive goal and we ensure progress is tracked and visible. Two, we list our core customers and then we write a little profile, 25 words or less. Three, we create 3 brand promises. Now, each brand promise is tied to a KPI, which is reported on weekly. And number 4, we establish an elevator pitch. That's right. This is a compelling response to that magic question, what does your company do? Now, ask yourself, does everyone in your organization know your strategy? They know the 3 main brand promises? Now, if you think the answer is yes, then verify it by asking your team to articulate your strategy and the 3 brand promises to you. Now, if everyone on your team can't share your firm's elevator pitch when asked, then you might need to work on your team's alignment. Now, we're almost there. Rockefeller Habit number 9. All employees can answer quantitatively whether they had a good day or week. Now, you might be wondering, why is this critical, Kristian? Well, it's simple. Your people are your number 1 resource and asset. Their morale and engagement dictate your sales, service, and overall performance. Now, to do so, quantitatively, that is, you need to establish some boundaries for them to make, let's say, informed assessments that are measurable. Now, here's how you do this. You need to establish 1 or 2 key performance indicators, so KPIs, that are reported weekly for each person. Each employee must have 1 critical number that aligns with the company's critical number for the quarter. Now, this establishes a clear line of sight for them. Now, also, each individual needs to have 3 to 5 quarterly priorities that align with those of the company, and all executives and managers have a coach or a peer coach holding them accountable for behavior changes that can occur. Now, I can't express to you the value that our clients gain from mentorship, coaching, and advisory. It's the secret weapon in scaling sustainably and living your best life. Now, many of our clients employ my team and me to further develop their team in either one-on-one and group coaching in leadership, strategy, execution, and culture. Now, what's important is that each member of your team, yourself included, should be able to answer the following question. Did I have a great day or week? Now, if they can't, it might mean that they are not clear on their priorities and KPIs. To move forward together, everyone must be aligned. Now, think of your organization as if it were a machine. Now, for the engine to work flawlessly, all parts must work and work together. Rockefeller Habit number 10. The company's plans and performance are visible to everyone. Now, by now, you should see a clear and present pattern. Each habit is about communication, visibility, and my favorite, accountability. Vern suggests creating a situation room for weekly meetings, either physical or virtual. The core values, purpose, and priorities are posted throughout the company. Scoreboards are up everywhere, displaying progress on the KPIs and the critical numbers. There is a system in place for tracking and managing the cascading priorities as well as the KPIs. Now, this habit boils down to having scorecards everywhere. It is encouraged that you have your goals, your metrics, and plans up around the company for everyone to see, keep track of, as well as remain totally engaged. Now, similarly, make sure your core values and purpose are also posted throughout your firm so that everyone can access it. So, how do you implement the Rockefeller Habits? I know that that's what you're thinking. So, While the habits are listed in no particular order, and you can start with whichever you want, I give our clients, and so does Vern, one rule. They must begin with Rockefeller habit number 1. The executive team is healthy and aligned. It is near impossible to implement any of the other habits without checking off number 1 first. Once that is realized and your team is ready to go, pick 1 or 2 habits each quarter and work on those. Start with the habits that will have the most immediate benefit, and over the next 12 to 18 months, you'll have been able to get through all 10. Now you can go all at it, but I would recommend taking it slowly. Outside of Rockefeller habit number 1, the order is really up to you. This isn't a one-time thing, but a process that will make your journey easier. As the company scales up, you can continue to refresh the habits. So who should develop and use these habits? Now, by all means, these habits aren't the only way to build a long-lasting organization. However, if your business has been wasting massive amounts of money and time and has a great strategy, but your team must work 18 hours a day to make up for sloppy execution and lack of discipline, then this execution list is absolutely for your organization. So follow the implementation guidelines and see the difference that it will make. Now, direct message me when it starts working. I love hearing about people's successes. I absolutely do. Now, most importantly, if you can't make it work and there is resistance, or you simply desire to have it functional in your organization, direct message me and we can book a discovery call and see if we can help you out. So where does your company stand? As you can see, the formula is simple. Make sure everyone feels safe and free to participate. Get your priorities absolutely clear and straight. You need to gather data, right? And make sure that everyone and everything works like a well-oiled machine. Now, knowing the formula is the easy part. Successfully implementing the procedure is where things get a little tricky. Throw in a large organization, which I call elephants sometimes, with many different people and parts, and things can get out of hand. That's where these habits, though, come in. It is the rudder that will help you steer your company's ship to growing and thriving. Now, for a practical way to learn how to apply these habits in your current business while getting support, feedback, and customized advice as you implement, check out my Grow and Flourish program. In this program, you work one-on-one with me each week for 12 months. And we make sure that you successfully implement the Rockefeller habits throughout your organization. Now, this is just one of the massive amounts of toolbox items that we have available. But before you go, I have provided you with the checklist of the 10 Rockefeller habits repurposed from Scaling Up and Vern Harnish for you to use and reference from time to time. So make sure that before you go to the link and you download this free resource right now, then replay the podcast and get started with habit number 1. So here's my thing. Why wait? Why not just decide to grow your business with these proven habits and live your best life? Raise your standards and step up. Today's your day. It's your life. It's your legacy. And you can build a legacy right now. All you need to do is decide to create a routine and make it a discipline. Decide to develop these habits and implement the routine in your everyday life. And here's the best part. You don't have to do it alone. You can achieve and be fulfilled and live with passion and purpose every single day. So this is your time to decide. Join me and live your best life. For me, this is about being in a peak state all the time. And if you don't know how, follow me on LinkedIn, where I share content almost every day, and immerse yourself and raise your standards. I want you to step up and I want you to make your move right now. Become part of my community, my tribe. Surround yourself with top achievers and thrive. You can do this by following and engaging with me on all my social media platforms, and more importantly, sign up to my monthly must-have insights. When you are ready to make your move, and I mean this, when you're ready to make your move and grow your business to the next level and raise your standards, I want you to book a free strategy call with me. On this call, we will explore where you're at, where you want to go, and how we can do it together, helping you achieve your goals faster, better, and more fulfilling. I've loved hanging out with you today and sharing with you the 10 Rockefeller Habits and how they will help you scale your business. Now, I hope that you found the information enriching and that you can use it to show up, stand up, raise your standards, and step up in life. If you loved today's episode, please take 1 minute to rate it and provide a review. While you're there, take a minute to share the episode with your network and gift the gift of knowledge to others. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And until next time, live with purpose.